Hello and welcome to Ironcast. My name's Anuki, and this may as well be called COVIDcast. I finally got around to getting it, and it's sucked. I'm getting better though, not 100% there yet, but almost. I managed to avoid it for so long, since I don't get out much because I'm in prison, but 2 weeks ago I snuck out like I do every once in a while, wrestled a pack of wild old people, and I guess that's what finally got me. But anyway, enough about me. They're as red as House Tudor. Will they rule for 100 years? Commanding the US forces is a nightmare. What kind of nightmare? Silent Hill or... Actually, I don't know any of the nightmares. That's the only one. When I ask other people to describe their nightmares, they seem to want to hang out with me less or shank me more. Nightmare has got a Jeep out with Vet 1, so that means they've gone the Armor Battle Group, and then they've upgraded the Jeep with the ability to capture points. Yes, I'm sure you're quite familiar with this, but if you're not, then I'm assuming you are new to Company of Heroes 3, and I'm hoping to get you on board. So, in the Blue Tutu, we've seen them before, it's Sheen Nuchilla. Referred to previous introduction here on Ironcast. They will order some of the Wehrmacht army around as they see fit. And we're here on the lovely Twin Beaches, a lovely map for lovely people. Double Pioneer start for Sheen with a machine gun to boot. That Jeep is going to be able to get around that machine gun fairly easily, so Sheen needs to watch out for that. As long as Nightmare spots the machine gun early and avoids getting suppressed or under fire, they'll be in a strong position and they can always just opt to not engage. I feel like a lot of people, and this includes myself on this one, we don't consider that as an option. There's got to be some kind of Zen-like phrase that summarizes that. Patience is the absence of committing. I tend to find that's the best way to sound Zen-like or philosophical. Just describe something as the absence of something else. Happiness is the absence of sadness. And the voice in my head is the guy from the 4th level of Black and White 2, which I replayed recently, whilst I was retching up my lungs. No bullets traded, no shots fired just yet. That's now changed. Nightmare sparked up a flare and spotted the machine gun earlier. Very well played to them. Pioneers running around to try and get the assistance of the Grenadier squad. We got 2 rifles here and the Jeep as well. Second group of rifles on the left pulling back. And the Pioneers get in the neighboring building. Everybody loves good neighbors. I didn't. I think watching Neighbors is what gave me such a strong sense to kill a game. Mid-fuel was in Nightmare's hands, and Sheen steps on it with their machine gun. Double Grenadiers looking over their shoulders. Not a great place for the scout squad to be. They smoke the machine gun before retreating. Strictly scout mission. Not to engage. That's the rifle's job. They're going to get vastly overwhelmed, though. 2 Grenadiers running up. One getting around the side now. There is a rifle squad in the distance executing a flanking maneuver, but they've lost that front rifleman squad. They do inflict decent damage on one of the Grenadier squads at least. But now it's technically a group of 9 versus 5. Rifles getting sandwiched. In fact, there's even more. There's Pioneers inside the building getting breached. I think Nightmare cancelled that. Instead, they're going to breach the building with the Grenadiers. Door kicking action. Kicks them out of the building. Takes it for themselves. Quality content. The Grenadiers are homeless, like many young Britons today. Let's hope we can turn this shit around, yeah? Stop listening to the BBC calling Labour racists and vote those Tories out. Seriously, we're going to ask the public to vote on international trade laws, but we're not going to let them vote on allowing the government to invade their privacy, which excludes politicians from the same invasive protocols they're suggesting? Yeah, all right. And again, don't tell me to keep politics out of gaming. This is a World War II game. It's extremely political. But thumbs up, like, and subscribe if you want an affordable home to live in. Captain here suppressed. Rifle squad running up to the side of the machine gun. Baker squad here on the left. Inactive as the day they were born. We got quite a lot of action going across the map. In the middle and the bottom. Rifles getting away on very low health there. Sheen has invested quite a bit into this first phase. So the machine gun did get dislodged. Rifles taking cover behind the truck. And the retreat path is going to go straight through a couple of squads. So it's a victory in the north for Nightmare. And seemingly in the south too. 6 minutes in and already a lot of delightful action. Let's check out the big beach with the lighthouse. There's a scout squad facing off against pioneers. Heavy cover for all, but more for the scout squad. They're really having to squeeze behind those sandbags though. Grenadiers in the distance, too busy trying to recapture the fuel, and it takes them a long time. Scouts, surprisingly, moving to engage. Or surprisingly not. No, they fall back. Yes, wise choice. We do have a battle group choice for Sheen Nachil. It's the mechanized battle group. Raid package already enabled, allowing light vehicles to capture territory, mirroring the Jeep in this battle. But we don't have any light vehicles just yet. I suspect Sheen will get an 8-rad out because 8-rads are cool, maybe even radical. Machine gun providing covering fire to the Grenadiers. Excellently anticipated. So the other option, instead of the 8-rad, you can choose the Stug D with the Panzer Grenadier squad riding on the back, and I don't see that really used at all. It's probably because you have to spend 600 manpower. There's a fuel cost associated, 50 fuel, not really worth mentioning, but stockpiling 600 manpower isn't common. We've got a Greyhound on the field now, which fits what I'm about to say pretty perfectly. Now, I don't think the manpower cost is the only reason. When it comes to killing infantry, it's not like the Wehrmacht are lacking at this point, and way before you can bring in the Stug D, you probably want to be thinking about vehicle threats, such as this Greyhound. So it's kind of the wrong time for such an expensive unit to hit the field just to deal with infantry, whilst also being way too early to have that 600 manpower sat there doing nothing. I think the only way that the Stug D can really work is if you go to the Luftwaffe company, get out Jaeger squads, get them with Panzer Shreks, and you might say, okay, yeah, now I want some anti-infantry power. A Stug D with a Panzer Grenadier squad, that sounds great! But then, ignoring all context of what your enemy is doing, you now have to control Jaegers, Panzer Grenadiers, and Pioneers, probably. It's a lot of different infantry types, and most commanders don't want that kind of hassle. They don't want that kind of platoon complexity. So yeah, I think that's like 3 or 4 reasons why we don't see a Stug D as much for the Wehrmacht. But we do see the regular good old-fashioned Stug. It's going to be more than capable of dealing with the Greyhound, but the Greyhound is nimble. It will gleefully skip around the battlefield, providing assistance where assistance is requested. But yeah, and another reason for the 8-rad over the Stug D, you can actually make use of that first ability choice that allows light vehicles to capture territory. But it's not come out yet, so maybe we will get a Stug D. Oh dear. Bye-bye, Pioneers. Sheen is also grabbing a Pack 40. They are fully prepared for armored threats. And those EZ8s did get buffed this patch. I can't tell if Nightmare is going down that path now, because I don't want to flick between players and create confusion and reduce screen space by having the interface for changing players at the bottom of the screen. I hope with a proper replay spectate mode, we'll have a really nice uniform interface, just all the information at the bottom and top of the screen, like a widescreen effect, and then the minimap in the bottom left as usual. That's the shape we need. Just want to see as much as Company of Heroes 3 as possible. It's a good looking game. People say it looks like a mobile game, which is crazy because PC games barely look this good. I'm sorry, what non-Relic RTS games have you been playing where infantry doesn't move like a robot? We're not exactly swimming in RTS games, and most RTS games are going to be the traditional RTS, your StarCraft, Command & Conquer type, where infantry just has the same run cycle. I think most people have attacked Company of Heroes 3 wrongly on graphics, because whilst there are criticisms, as these engineers get whopped, this game looks like it will age much better. CoH 2 already looks dated. It actually looks more dated than the first game, in my opinion, but Company of Heroes 3 is a bit more stylized. Yes, that might mean it loses a bit of its rugged, realistic fidelity, but this to me looks like it will still hold up in 10 years' time. Like the original Alien movie today. We've still got new sounds coming in the next patch too, so still work being done on the game, which is fantastic. And the new sounds are going to be beefy. This is an incredible front line we've got all over the map warfare. This is war, and this is the 8-Rad. It's not going to hold up too well against a Greyhound, but it should supplement the forces quite nicely. We already have the Stug and the Pack 40 to deal with the Greyhound, if they can catch up to it. The MG42 suppressing the rifle squad, preventing them from capturing the territory, but in comes the Greyhound like clockwork to remove that obstacle. Both the Stug and the Pack 40 are in the middle of the map, traveling outside of the assigned half of the allocated zone of war. What the hell? I mean, it's cool that they've got the 8-Rad here, working on the cutoff point, but that Pack 40 I'm curious about. Nightmare has their own M1 anti-tank gun, persuading Sheen to back off, but they do get the decap. Very nervous about that Pack 40. It is at least pulling away now. Greyhound comes up the road. It is in line of sight. Takes a bad hit to the front. Going for the cutoff points is always a really great idea, but it works exceptionally well here, giving Sheen time to stretch out their grenadiers and recapture this side of the map, forcing Nightmare to have to pull back and get that cutoff point back. That's a Jeep just around the corner here, waiting for the Pioneers. How fun. Pioneers will just run. How long will the Jeep survive for this match? It's the #1 game I play whenever I get a Jeep or Kettenkrad, any ultralight vehicle. How long can you keep it alive for? Also, fun fact, I saw someone in the Discord recently think that Jeeps were bugged because they couldn't tow AT guns or flaks. When it says they can, they have the ability for it. They can, but they have to not be crewed. The crew has to be killed from the AT gun or flak if you want to be able to tow it. So it's really good for stealing or just resecuring decrewed ordnance. More smoke on the ground. Bars are up for the rifles now too, but they run straight into a machine gun. They do get the grenade off. No casualties. Now I do think these bars are going to be a game changer. There's so many grenadiers on the field. No elite infantry though for Sheen. Oh, Nightmare using the artillery call in that Captain Retinue gets at Vet 1. Such a long timer, though, for it to hit. The machine gun just pulls back ever so slightly. Ooh, hitting a mine here on the left. Sheen has quite a few mines down on this top victory point. Both teams have just gone past the 400 ticket mark. A very even-looking matchup. staring at each other around this mid-fuel point. Sheen's got a second AT gun as well. Is that Greyhound being that pesky? 8-Rad taking fire. Greyhound moving down the road. It is spotted by Sheen. Captain Retinue has been suppressed. Is it just one rifle squad that's going to back these up? Long-range grenade. Not going to hit that M1 anti-tank gun. Now, I mentioned that bars will be quite a game changer, especially since that Sheen doesn't have any elite infantry, but it really is. I mean, this is Company of Heroes. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. Nightmare spots the second Pack 40 now. Pleasant shot there from the Greyhound, dislodges the MG. Although the ammo carrier guy doesn't seem to have got the memo. Run, you fool! You'll die if you ponder here too much. Or maybe not, probably just thinking. Peace is the absence of war. Whatever they're doing, the battle is pretty heated around this mid-fuel point now. The Wehrmacht AT gun firing line assembles. Greyhound, be careful. Takes a double shot. Stug misses its round. Sheen issues the orders for the Grenadiers to move forward, presumably to finish it off with a Panzerfaust. Not needed. Stug does the job. The M1 anti-tank gun gonna have a very tricky time penetrating the front of a Stug while standing on grenades. 8-Rad doing a great job on the top side, except that there is that M1 anti-tank gun now pointing at it. Oh, excellent use of the smoke diffusers. I guess the rifles already used their sticky grenade. Excellent that the 8-Rad is going to scoot away from this one. Meanwhile, back in the center, the battle is still going on. Jesus Christ! What's that Stug loaded with? I think that was the point-blank blast that the Stug G gets at Ved 1. Now, if you're wondering what the white expanding circle was, that's the 8-Rad. It has the ability to detect things whilst stationary. It doesn't reveal units, it just lets you know if there's an infantry squad or a vehicle in an approximate location. I think Nightmare complementing the look of the Jeep there, not getting hit by the Pack 40. Got medics running back as well. I still really miss the medic mechanic from Company of Heroes 1. I liked building the medic stations out in the battlefield. Wehrmacht still have it, which is great. But that US medic tent, that was beautiful. Victory points still remarkably even. We're almost 20 minutes in, way past the half-time mark, but there will be no respite, at least not for the players. For me, though, just want to quickly recruit you into the discord.me/ironcast. Link in the video description. If you enjoy these casts, that's a great way to show some support, just with your presence. You know, I like having you around. I try to post the unlisted videos early in Discord so you can see them as soon as they're uploaded, rather than waiting for the titles and descriptions, which sometimes takes days. If you also want to try and help make this channel a better place or a more exciting space, some people have really nice Discords. I joined the Starship Troopers Discord recently. That's very nicely laid out. And Grenadiers very close to that mine. Do they know it's there, though? I think they must do. If only we had a slightly adventurous toe to step on it. Gonna be denied the satisfaction of the explosion. We do have a mortar out on the field. Mortars still feeling quite underrated. I think it's just because they do very slow, heavy amounts of chip damage, and you need a high combat uptime for them. And they always need to be kind of firing to get a decent amount of payoff. Basically just like an AoE sniper. You know, you always want your sniper shooting as frequently as they can. Same applies to the mortar. You just don't necessarily see the kills. Grenades away on the machine gun. Doesn't kill the squad. Now that is surprising. Nightmare still gets the decap. Chased by the 8-Rad. Running over their own mines. Ooh. Close. It just detonated earlier. This edge is definitely going to Sheen Nutshell, though, as the map starts blinking more of their bluey color. There's a Nebelwerfer coming out for Sheen. Highly inaccurate, extremely ineffective, not at all scary, and no warranty. Also, judging by the command points being saved up, Sheen is excitingly waiting to deploy a Panther to the field. That would rival an easy 8. And considering we aren't even past the 250 ticket mark for either commander, we're going to get that battle. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Unless you're a Grenadier, then get the fuck out of here, because Vet 2 bars hurt, and so do flamethrowers. Now, I wonder what's going to happen with all these Grenadiers now that they're starting to get chewed up by the veteran rifles with bars. Oh, Jeep, what are you doing? Sorry, it's not Jeep. Truck. Can't call it a Jeep because Jeep's a brand. Yeah, I don't know. I prefer the Land Rover anyway. So, anyway, Nightmare only has one Panzer Grenadier squad to deal with, but it's more about everything else. Everything that isn't a Grenadier. Here we go. Easy 8. With assault engineers riding on the back too. There's the Nebelwerfer shots. Just telling the AT gun to dance around for it. Oh, the timing's really good. Just got the command points for the Panther. Now we gotta start saving that manpower. Plenty of fuel in the bucket. The Stug deploys their smoke package. Just drives in reverse away from the easy 8. 8-Rad picking away one of the assault engineers from the side. I'm interested to see what kind of play is going to be made with this easy 8 with so much anti-tank on the field. Still got the 2 AT guns and a Stug. That's more than enough to deal with an easy 8. I'm usually not one for armored warfare, but things have escalated in a very gratifying manner. Nightmare's got a mortar that's slightly out of position, getting charged by Pioneers. One of them's holding a minesweeper. Get ready for the clubbing. The mortar's just walking away. Some of the engineers aren't, though. Yeah, easy 8s, I think, still a bit too on the powerful side against infantry. Concentration of Wehrmacht forces. So many battles have occurred around this mid-fuel. Can't be about the fuel, though. Everyone's got excess amounts of that. Strategically, the height advantage is valuable. There's only one victory point near here. Jeez, that main gun is just way too devastating. I really think the main gun should be, you know, fairly inaccurate against infantry. And a rifle squad trying to flank around the back, but Sheen has placed mines all over the place. I don't think we have any minesweepers up for Nightmare. Are they going to lose their engineer? The retreat command is away, so off they go. The 8-Rad throwing smoke down. Rifle squad nearby throws a sticky and destroys it. The easy 8 close to breaking 2. Nightmare reverses it out of there. Sheen following up with a Stug. Meets and greets an AT gun. Can't get around the corner for the final blow. Stug uses their smoke. This time, it's going to allow the vehicle to successfully get away. Going to take a vacation and get some repairs. Sheen falling back on their positions. Nebelwerfer, yeah, I mean, a little bit of damage on the mortar, but again, highly inaccurate. Doesn't really do a lot. It's a weapon of fear, is how I describe it. Either way, Nightmare advances all the way up to the cutoff point. Sheen on 357 tickets to Nightmare's 244. Predictive grenade. Hits one guy. Are you gonna lose the rifle squad over it? Nah, they'll be fine. Possibly. Hate the word tickets. It makes me think of theme park. Like the players are playing for tickets to a theme park. I know it's not the case. It's just a word association. What we got here? Barbed wire all the way across the victory point? That's not gonna hold up. Barbed wire so easily destroyed. I mentioned this a few casts ago, I think in a 2v2. I can't remember when it was now because I've spent 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Yeah, it's been a while. I've done a special little project that I can't telling anyone about because of a certain NDA, but you'll know when it hits sometime soon. But then after doing the work for that, and then getting hit by COVID, it's been over a month since I've actually casted a game of Company of Heroes 3, so bugger. Double Pioneers against the Assault Engineers. It's fire going down on those mines. Could trigger it. I still think anytime you get the Minesweeper upgrade, it should be toggleable. Toggleable. Not sure if I'm saying that right. Toggleable? Toggleable. Toggleable. That's a fun word. The Felcher Pioneers have it. They could toggle the ability on and off. And I just think that because when your squad's are only 3 people or 4 people in size, such a considerable nerf just to have someone running around permanently with a Minesweeper that might not even see any use at all. Neville firing away blindly. It's not going to hurt any vehicles. The Stug is back in the field. Looks absolutely mint condition until the grenade smacks it. Oh, the side armor exposed. Holy crap! Jesus, that was a powerful hit. Almost flipped the entire tank. We got a new Easy 8 out here as well now. That's going to be looking good for the... What are you doing, Easy 8? Hello? Anybody there? Driver, gunner, commander, loader? Brian? So many weird things happening. We got a Panther out here now. Engaging the Easy 8. It looks like that's going to be victorious. One more shot. Down it goes. Got this AT gun to deal with. Just going to drive on past it. The German commander making their announcements that they won that. Ooh, rear shot. Oh, over a mine. Oh my god. Thank goodness for some smoke. Driving through the corpse of its own ally. But thank goodness that the Panther is able to escape there. They'll need that to put up a fight against that remaining Easy 8. They do have 2 AT guns, but microing AT guns can be pretty tricky and troublesome and annoying. They're never quite where you need them, and they don't often finish the job. Good use of the Panther there just to protect that victory point. So we're not going to be threatened by a 3-cab rifle with 12 kills there.
Victory point is under enemy control.
I always suspect more when there's 2 stars. It doesn't actually take all that much. Especially with the Captain Retinue around, because that increases the nearby XP gain rate of infantry. Woo! Chunky! Neville firing on the top victory point. Nobody around to make a sound, though. That looked like a good grenade hit, but no victims. Double rifles. Oh, one of them stepping into a mine. Maybe these grenadiers stand a chance after all, as they have the heavy cover. A few of the rifles are getting around the back. Panther making its appearance again. Good grenade dodge. That Panther's all the way back up to full health. That was really quick repairs. I think double Pioneers were working on that. And suddenly our tickets are evening out again. I think this might be the best game of Company of Heroes 3 I've seen so far. 244 to 244. Machine guns and mortars away. We say bye-bye to the Grenadiers as they go back to base. This is it, though. This is the late game. This is the end game. And whilst there's a small amount of peace in the air, I really feel like we should have some more stages of the game. Like, okay, I'm still living in the old school Company of Heroes 1 days, where we have a super late game. You get that super heavy armor out. It's quite specific, though. I do wonder if we're going to get a King Tiger or an Elephant tank. We'll definitely see a Pershing. No doubt about that. Eventually in a new battle group. Units aren't the only way to scale things, though. I also wonder if we could revisit Company of Heroes Online, the free-to-play game. Imagine if abilities could be scaled up to with all those additional command points. You know, that just loiter around and don't do anything. Imagine sticking that in a bombing run and making it so that it does more bombs or a shorter timer or... I don't know, there's all kinds of cool things. Anyway, Nightmare is pushing Sheen back. We're going to step on another mine. Yes, of course we are. But the Vet 3 rifles are super resilient. Another 2 rifle squads in the middle. Challenging doubled freaking Panthers. Nice. Back here, Nightmare has a new Easy 8. Well, isn't this just going to be glorious? 2 Easy 8s. 2 Panthers. This Sunday night. Sheen again is moving a large amount of their Wehrmacht army to this top side of the map. Look at all this ordnance as well. Both AT guns and the Nebel. And the Nebel is quite short range as well, so you do kind of have to get pretty close. And on top of that, just a friendly reminder that as long as you have vision on the enemy, your artillery is going to be more accurate. I do really like that mechanic. Nightmare on Overwatch with a captured MG42. I hear rockets. Ooh, first one's a hit, second hit. It's not good for the freaking MG42. Nebel finally got good. Nightmare's also capturing the bottom victory point. 3 cap away. Sheen to make the play. The ball is in their estate. And they're going to kick that ball hard towards the top victory point. Mortar firing away. It's going to be good to take out that MG. The Vet 3-1 on the fuel point. Both Panthers making their way down. Apparently not as good as the Easy 8s when it comes to killing infantry. There's that Easy 8 now. Getting hit by the double pack 40s. Just cannot go there. Oh my god, it's so deadly. Deadlier than a mortar. Think about that for a moment. Huge casualties on the Wehrmacht side. You see in the top right, most of the units have just disappeared. That's kind of what happens when you are stuck on Grenadiers for such an incredibly long time. They need to be replaced at some point, but it's so difficult to do so. Panther not facing its turret around the correct way, entering into combat, but that's okay. One of the Easy 8s is destroyed, and that is great news for Sheen. And they're going to get the second one as well without losing a Panther. All right. So Sheen has the armor advantage. Oh my god. Whilst Nightmare potentially has the infantry advantage. Trying to run away with some of these Pack 40s. Very tricky to try and capture them, though, whilst you are still in combat. You really don't want to be losing any rifle squads at this point. A couple new rifle squads arrive, and Sheen does not want these Pack 40s to be captured, so they're going to go and destroy their own ordnance. And I think that's a sound decision. There's just no way that Sheen will have been able to get those packs back into their hands. I mean, look at the infantry who's got a Grenadier squad, an MG, and a Pioneer with a Minesweeper. And of course, the Naval WEHR, yes. Hitting no targets again. Getting close to the AT gun now. Ooh. So I guess now we think about who has this tougher? Is trying to deal with two Panthers tougher than trying to get infantry out to fight these rifle squads? Welcome aboard the new Panzer Grenadier squad. I suppose when we boil it down, it's only a small matter of time for the Wehrmacht to get some infantry out. Which is all they really, really need at the moment. Just some infantry presence. The tough part for Nightmare, though, is getting not something that can just deal with a Panther, but two Panthers. If Nightmare brought out another Easy 8, it's still not a great matchup. They'd have to play quite intelligently, using their M1 anti-tank gun as well to try and pick off one of the Panthers, retreat, get repaired, and then ride on in and try and repeat the same process. We're getting a second Panzer Grenadier squad for Sheen. And I think that really puts them in a favorable spot right now, although we have a recovery vehicle. Well, this changes quite a bit. A much cheaper way to get an Easy 8 back out into this war. Panther riding over a mine there. Gonna need some repairs to get back up to full speed. We're gonna lose an assault engineer squad. No. This is starting to feel a bit too tense, even for me. Panzergrens getting around the side, the machine gun, they locate the anti-tank gun as well. Not that the Panthers are really in a position to get in. Especially not with the Easy 8 peeping over their shoulders.
We have 75 points remaining.
Recovery vehicle now going for the second Easy 8. Oh, this will not be good news for Sheen. I'm not sure if they can see that recovery vehicle from here. Very optimistic grenade there. Getting torn to pieces by both the Ved 3 squad and the Easy 8. We can't be losing Panzer Grenadier squads now. This game's starting to flip-flop. Sheen was in control, then they started losing it, and then Nightmare lost their Easy 8s. Sheen lost their infantry. Sheen got their infantry back. Nightmare got their tanks back. What's next? Sheen gets a Zeppelin and barrages from the sky. Nightmare appears from subterraneous vehicles and sabotages the Wehrmacht base. No, I'm thinking of Command and Conquer now. Grenades away on the Nebel. Decruise it. Great play from the rifles there. And every bloody day that goes by, I still think about if Company of Heroes 3 was set in a fantasy World War II inspired game. Because then we could literally have all of the countries reimagined. Sheen saying such an overpower. A Nightmare is like, it was hard. Yeah. It was bloody hard. It did not look easy at all. And you just lost another Easy 8. Are we paying attention here? Anti-tank gun not getting a shot. Oh, no, they did get a shot off on the Panther. They managed to retreat it. Oh, we're going to get a sticky grenade off from the rifles. That's what they're going for. The turrets are swinging round. Blows one guy to bits. No? No sticky? Sticky on cooldown? No! Oh! And the tables are turning once a frickin' again. Oh, the delightful thing about that recovery vehicle, by the way, is unlike regular engineers when they're repairing, that recovery vehicle is an armored vehicle. It's got pretty decent health on it. So repairing in combat with a recovery vehicle, not actually too bad. In any case, GG is called, and that is defeat for Sheen, but a glorious victory for your worst nightmare. So with the match over, there's not much to say whilst we watch the highlights. Maybe something about standing with Ukraine. Maybe something about trans rights are human rights. Maybe something selfish like come hang out with me on discord.me/Ironcast. Whatever the lesson of this cast is, I don't know. My name's Anuki, and you've been a wonderful audience. See you for the next one.
Territory sector lost. German Easy 8 proved no match for our Panzers. They're hitting our flank! Our AT gun has been destroyed. A 76mm